Hey Bears fans, we didn't get to do a live show this Tuesday. I had a ton going on here at the Chat Sports office, but I still want to do a mailbag for you guys. So use hashtag Bears in the comments and start asking your question. Example, hashtag Bears. Will the Bears make the playoffs this year? Whatever it is, trade ideas, free agency, schedule, non-Bears related questions, whatever it is, we'll answer the best questions that you guys submit. So hashtag Bears and get those questions flowing in the comments right now. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham, your host as always, and you can follow me on Twitter at HGrahamNFL. You can also submit some questions over there. Maybe we'll answer some of those on our mailbag as well. Let's get into some Bears rumors roundup items here. We'll start with a Bryce Callahan trade. Could it happen? Could the Bears bring Callahan home? I'll go two smoking Jays. I definitely think it is a possibility, but like all these things, right, it'll come down to price at the end of the day, and it'll come down to how willing is Denver in terms of if they want to trade Callahan or not. Obviously, spent his first 4 seasons in Chicago. Brad Spielberger of PFF had this, that the Broncos are open to trading Callahan and that the Bears are among the teams that are interested in him. And why wouldn't the Bears be interested in Bryce Callahan? They need a cornerback, especially a nickel, which is what Callahan plays and plays very well, and he knows the system. He knows Chicago very, very well. I think this would be a great fit. He was very good last year for Denver, only played in 10 games, but he had 2 picks, 5 pass breakups. His Pro Football Focus coverage rating was like an 86. That's a really good grade on their grading system. He's been a very, very good nickel corner in this league for quite a while. Sign me up for this. Bring Bryce Callahan to Chicago. I do not trust what the Bears have at the cornerback position right now outside of Jalen Johnson, who I do think is going to be very, very good, but as far as after that goes, I'm not confident whatsoever in what the Bears have at the cornerback position. So if you can get Bryce Callahan on board, put him in the nickel, Jalen Johnson at CB1, then you can kind of live with whatever you have at CB2. Do you want Bryce Callahan back in Chicago? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get your votes in down in the comments section. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with a YouTube ad break, scroll on down, answer this question, and once the ad is done playing, scroll back up, the video will be back on. So you look at the depth chart, and like I said, you got Jalen Johnson. Kendall Vilder, Artie Burns, the combination of those two guys are serviceable as a CB2. I don't love that, but I think you can get by if you have a good nickel as well. Duke Shelley's not very good. Xavier Crawford is more of a special teams guy. I think if you put Callahan in the nickel with Jalen Johnson at CB1, that changes how you feel about this cornerback room. The Bears need a nickel badly. Duke Shelley can't cover. It's just as simple as that. He can tackle. He plays the run pretty well as a nickelback, but he does not cover well. So if you get Bryce Callahan, maybe you ship Shelley in a trade as well as a draft pick, that could be the key ingredient to this defense right now, because I like the front, I like the linebackers. I think Eddie Jackson and Tayshaun Gibson are good at safety. I just don't like the corners. That's the big issue. And again, like we mentioned earlier, Callahan knows the Bears. He likes the Bears. Played here for 4 years and was very, very productive. He signed with Denver because of Vic Fangio, but Sean Desai is a Vic Fangio disciple. He's trying to do some similar things that Fangio did, and Callahan was a key ingredient to that 2018 defense. Some would call him the glue of that 2018 defense that was, a top 20 defense in NFL history for that Chicago Bears group. So we'll see what happens. There's some real chatter going on right now about Callahan being on the trade block. I'll be very curious to see if Denver moves him. I'll be even more curious to see if the Bears are able to trade for him. What is your confidence level in the Bears cornerbacks right now, currently, what they currently have? Scale it 1 to 10, 10 being you're very confident, 1 being not confident at all. I'm at like a 5, and if Jalen Johnson gets hurt, I'm at like a 1.5. If he goes down, you're in big trouble. Let's just put it that way. 5 out of 10 because I think Jalen Johnson's really good, but after him, I've got very little confidence whatsoever. Something I'm very confident in is when I wake up in the mornings and need a little energy boost, Magic Spoon is always going to be there for me, and you should take advantage of it. $5 off your first order at magicspoon.com/bears to get $5 off. high in protein, 0 grams of sugar, only 4 grams of net carbs, tons of different flavors that were flashing through. The cocoa, the fruit, the cinnamon is another one as well. Frosted is the one we just showed you guys. I love the peanut butter flavor. It's personally my favorite. It's also right there. Get going. Get a box. Get 4 boxes. MagicSpoon.com/Bears. Also, they have some limited time flavors available right now, so go check that out. That link will be in the comments and in the description. Let's keep going with our Bears Rumors Roundup. Justin Fields, is he changing the Bears narrative on what the narrative has been for years as a defensive-minded team? I'm going to go 3 smoking Jays. Now, he hasn't played yet, and obviously we have to see him play and we have to see him execute, and he's not going to play week 1, it doesn't appear, but I'm just that confident in him. He posted a video on Instagram about the upcoming season, about changing the narrative of being a defensive-minded team to being a more explosive offense. His ability, his leadership has been on display since this team drafted him. He's got the it factor. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, at the end of the day, if he doesn't play well on the field, it's not going to matter, but I really think he will. Obviously, Andy Dalton's the week 1 starter. We'll see how long that lasts. But once Fields gets in there, he is ready to make a statement and change the narrative that the Bears can't have a good offense, that they haven't been able to find the right quarterback. He wants to be that guy. Here's a part of the quote from that video he dropped on Instagram. Quote, "The number one goal of the Chicago Bears is to win. That's what we want to do. Every game is win. So for many years, our story has been about our defense. We want to change the narrative and, have an explosive offense this year." I just truly believe that Justin Fields won't be denied because he has that type of mindset. There's certain people in this world that you're just not going to stop them. They set their minds to something and they're not going to stop until they pull off what they want to accomplish. And that is what Justin Fields is. He has that it factor. He is the first in the building, last to leave type of guy. Great work ethic, natural leader. I think that he is going to change the narrative in Chicago about a team that can only play good defense. They can play good defense and good offense in Chicago, and I'm excited to see if he can pull it off. How would you describe Justin Fields in one word, based on what we know, based on what we've heard so far in the 4 months since the Bears have drafted him? Describe the Bears rookie quarterback in one word. If I had to pick one word for Justin Fields, it would be confidence. This guy exudes confidence. I mean, the guy, he's just walking onto the field. He's got the swaggy Oakley visor on. He's saying bear down at his first practice. He just gets it, man. He's looking at the memorabilia when he tours Hallis Hall, and he notices that there's no quarterback in franchise history that's been a historic player. He wants to be that guy. He believes he can be that guy. He truly believes when he says, hey, this can be a team that's explosive on offense and not just a good defensive team. He's the guy to change that narrative in Chicago, and I'm very, very excited to watch him pull that off because I truly, truly believe that he will be the guy that does that for the Chicago Bears. I'm excited to see him get on the field. We'll see how long it takes to see that happen. Obviously, as long as Andy Dalton's in there, we're going to hope that he has success, but if he slips up and if he's not looking good, get Fields in there and let him run away with this thing. Make sure you guys subscribe to us here at Chicago Bears Now because we continue to bring you the latest Bears news, rumors, live shows, and a whole lot more. Plus, watch parties throughout the regular season. So subscribe, hit that big red button. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. Keep it rolling here. Teven Jenkins, could he return in 2021? I'm going to go 2 smoking Jays on this one. We got a bit of a Jenkins injury update from Ryan Pace on Wednesday afternoon during his press conference. Now, obviously, Jenkins went to IR. He's still recovering from that back surgery, and that will be the case for a while. Pace gave an update, basically said a couple things. Number 1, the surgery was successful, and he could return this year. And number 2, the surgery he had just a couple of weeks ago was from a different issue than the Bears identified within his back that he had at Oklahoma State. They were aware that he had a back issue in college, but he went through rookie minicamp and OTAs with no issues on that back injury. He was good to go on that. This one flared up before training camp, and he wasn't able to get out there. Here's the quote, and this will further explain. Without getting into details, great start, Ryan. He started having some pain down his leg, I think just from the nerve. The good thing about it, as soon as we did the surgery, those symptoms went away. So we feel good about it, and the good thing is, guys, just because he had back surgery doesn't mean he's not going to have a good NFL career. I would put it at 50-50 that he plays in 2021, which is why I gave it 2 smoking Jays. That's kind of in that 50-50 range. But That's a very good sign that, hey, you feel like there might be a nerve problem, then you have surgery, and that's all of a sudden going away. That's good. Continue to recover. Take it slow. If you can get this guy on the field the final 5 or 6 games of the year, that's great. But I'd rather play it safe and have him full throttle for next year if it really comes down to it. That initial back injury doesn't seem to be an issue at the moment, and this second one that has popped up seems so far so good as far as the surgery and the recovery process goes. So that is good on Teven Jenkins. More on him in the O-line in a second. But first, hey, go bet on the Bears season opener against the Los Angeles Rams. Rams 7-point favorites. The over-under is set at 44.5 points, and you can do it with our friends over at BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/Bears. Get a 125% deposit bonus when you use the promo code BEARDOWN. What does that mean? Well, you put down $100, they're going to give you an extra 125 for free. However much you put in, they'll give you that bonus. Chatsports.com/Bears. Make some money all season long, plus free college football fans. Games are back tonight, so go make some money throughout the college football and the NFL season. So you look at this Bears offensive line, like we said, we'll see when Teven Jenkins returns, if he does it all this year. He's on injured reserve. Jason Peters, all signs have been good so far, so I actually feel pretty good about that with him at left tackle. Hopefully he can stay healthy. You know, he is 39 years old. Jermaine Ifedi, hopefully he continues to progress from his injury. Did not look good in the preseason opener, but if he plays better, that's obviously a good sign as well. But, you know, I feel good about Jenkins. I feel better than I did a couple of weeks ago after he had the initial surgery. So hopefully he continues to rehab, continues to progress, and we get to see him on the field at some point this season. Quick reminder, mailbag soon, #Bears, and get your questions in down in the comments. We will choose from the best ones. So come up with some good ones. #Bears. Get your questions in down in the comments. Last piece of news, the Bears signed Perriman, like we mentioned. He will report to Hallis Hall on Monday. So that's when he will have his first practice with the Bears. Takes a couple of days for these guys to move and do all that stuff. So he'll be at practice on Monday, and hopefully he gets, he's ready to go by week 1 for this Bears team. That's all for today's show. I want to remind you guys to subscribe. It's youtube.com/Bears Now. More videos to come. Week 1 just 10 days away, so stay tuned. We'll have you guys covered on everything when it comes to the Chicago Bears. And remember, #Bears to get your questions in.